Hello and welcome to another speedrunning video. If you've been watching my videos lately, I'm sure you saw this one coming, because recently I've done videos on beginner-friendly NES speedruns and intermediate NES speedruns. So of course we're gonna have to do the difficult NES speedruns as well. So today I'm gonna give you 10 recommendations for some games that I really like, and I just think, yeah, they're really difficult, so hope you enjoy. Game number 1, Adventure Island 3. This game doesn't have any glitches or anything like that, so it just comes down to platforming. And oh boy, it's a tough one. It's a fairly long game with, pretty high-paced platforming, I would say, so there's a lot to remember. And you need to make these exact jumps, otherwise you're gonna be screwed pretty much, or at least lose a bunch of time. Because in this game, at the end of the stage, you have your energy bar, which is your timer and also your health. And in order to save time in the run, you want to exit each level with as little HP or energy, whatever, on your bar as little as possible when you end the stage, because it's gonna count down to 0 at the end. So less bars to count down goes faster, obviously. But so yeah, the platforming in the speedrun comes down to picking up fruits in the stages to regain energy when you need it, but you only want, there are fruits that you want to dodge as well, because you don't want to get more energy than you need. So because of that, it becomes harder platforming, because you're trying to make certain jumps to avoid the fruit, but also make a tight jump. And it's also really unforgiving speedrun, because in this game you will get dinos that you collect and move throughout the stages with them, because they're faster and just really powerful, because you can attack with them much easier and stuff like that. But if you take a hit with when you have the dinosaur and you lose it, that's pretty much run over. So very costly speedrun where a simple mistake can be the end of the run at any time. But yeah, it's other than that, it's a lot of fun, really cozy speedrun, and not a whole lot of runners to it. But yeah, definitely if you're in for a challenging platformer, I totally recommend this one. Game number 2, Battle Kid 2 Mountain of Torment. This is a homebrew game that was released on the NES in 2012. So not an official release during the NES era, but thanks to indie developers, this wonderful game happened. And yeah, this is heavily inspired by the I Wanna Be the Guy series, if you know that. And just think of the platforming, or the gameplay is I Wanna Be the Guy, but without the trolley stuff. So this is also a glitchless speedrun, but it's a precision platformer, very high-paced, intense action where you jump and shoot a lot of stuff. And the key to going fast in this game is to remember for the first part, remember what room is coming up next, because every time you go into the next screen, the next screen loads so fast, and you need to execute the strat for that particular room almost sometimes immediately. And so yeah, a lot of it comes down to memorization, but yeah, also just catching the room cycles. Some rooms are generous where you don't have to do something immediately, but a very high-paced speedrun. A lot of fun, great music. Very long though, it's roughly an hour long, around an hour long, if you get a good time in the 100% category, and just a really rewarding speedrun, I would say. It's that type of game that really punishing, lots of trial and error in your blind playthrough of it, but it feels so rewarding to just learn more and more of this wonderful game. So yeah, I hope you give it a try. Game number 3 is Contra. A very difficult game casually, and the speedrun is no slouch in that regard as well. Casually you might have heard about the economy code to get more lives, kind of like a input you do in the title screen, because that was passed around back in the day, like in the schoolyard and stuff like that, to help people beat this game. But yeah, speedrunning wise, well, it's a run and gun, and the trick, well, the difficult part about this run is to not get hit. There's a lot of, it can be like some trolley bullets from enemies that can catch you off guard, but yeah, what you want to do for this speedrun is you want to get the spread gun and the R, which I think it stands for rapid, so you can shoot faster. And with the spread gun you will destroy so many things in this game, but the trick to destroying these things is due to a thing called the spread rhythm. So in order to speedrun this game you need to have a good mash, or like you need to have a consistent, fast enough mash. And by mashing in a specific rhythm and fast enough, you kind of like make a spread rhythm where you see the spread gun is supposed to, well, spread out as the name implies. But by mashing in this particular way, you, instead of getting like a huge spread, you get like a straight line of bullets, and that means like more focused damage onto things, and it just, yeah, destroys things if you master that. But that's the tough part. Like it's hard to, like sometimes you need to set up the spread rhythm. You can't just start mashing whenever you want. Like there are some tricks to it. So yeah, that's definitely a tough part of the speedrun. But yeah, just overall, can be some tricky platforming and dodging enemy bullets, like I said, and while doing these, like keeping the mash up for so long. And so yeah, very mash heavy game, or you might get like a sore arm for a long session of this, but it's a lot of fun, and it does have a few glitches. Like in the waterfall stage you can do some ledge skips by moving a specific way in the stage, and the ledge skip is just like it sounds. In the waterfall stage, you jump upwards the screen, and you like supposed to jump to one platform and then on to the next. But by moving in a specific way, you can skip like one platform. You kind of get two platforms in one jump instead. But it requires like some precise movement, and yeah, definitely like some more in-depth stuff to learn about that part. And there's also a kind of like a glitch kill on the base 2 boss, where well, it's the boss where like it has like turrets and some kind of ice at the top. And there's a way to actually, like I think it's a frame perfect glitch where you damage the core, well, the eye, and doing it in a specific way will also lets you damage the other eye that's supposed to be invulnerable for that cycle. So I explained it pretty bad, I think, but yeah, like if you watch the run and see it happens, you will understand what I mean. And like it's not necessary for doing the speedrun, but if you want to get a good time, then you definitely want to get, like, there are different variations to that quick kill as well. It's like a 1 cycle or 2 cycle and stuff like that. But yeah, if you just want to pick up this game and get a like decent time, or a pretty good time, like I have a 10:14 for example, which is pretty good, but usually like people that goes for top times are aiming for like a sub 10 in this game, which only a few handful in the world have done. But yeah, like you can get a sub 10 without that particular well, the fastest quick kill on that boss, but everything else needs to be on point. But yeah, pretty, like I said, difficult game, but a lot of fun. But it also like is so different from many other games due to the specific mashing rhythm that you need to have. So yeah, hope you like this recommendation as well and give it a try. Game number 4 is Mega Man. I could have went with any of the NES Mega Mans for this list, but I wanted to keep it from like one entry from each series, because yeah, like this game Well, I'm gonna talk about this game for this video, but the second game got the sips that's really difficult to do. The third game adds like that you can slide and like very mash heavy. The fourth game adds a shard shot that you need to master, as well as some like balloon jumps from a particular item. Fifth game has the super arrow, which is tricky to use at some points, and the sixth game is wonky due to its slide that you can't jump out of, so you have to, like, before you jump out of the slide, you need to cancel the slide. Let's not go there. We're gonna talk about Mega Man 1 for this video. This is the game that when I think of like a difficult game, this is the one that comes to mind to me immediately, because the speedrun starts off chill with the Cutman stage, where not much happens at all. Like, yeah, well, you do some like screen wraps that are just easy to do, but there's no like difficult tricks to the first stage, so that's why it's not in this video. I just started here with Elecman stage, where things happens, some really fun stuff and difficult stuff. Basically, like pretty much every trick in this game is either frame perfect or pixel perfect. So, well, the reason why you want to go to Elecman early in this speedrun is you want to get the magnet beam, which is the OP like game breaking thing for this speedrun. But you don't have you need Gutsman weapon in order to get the magnet beam casually. But in the speedrun, there's a frame perfect trick where you like press down and shoot on the ladder in the magnet beam screen, and you get into like glitched state, and yeah, you can get into the magnet beam, and also like you get into the wall and get out and grab it and move on, and skip having to do Gutsman stage casual, and save it for later and doing it fast. But yeah, magnet beam allows you to create platforms, which lets you move through the stages much faster, but it also sets up the most important thing, and that's the zips. And you can zip either at the top of the screen, like it's pixel perfect, so you need to place it on the correct pixel, and well, the correct height is when you can squeeze in a Mega Man sprite between the magnet beam and like the top of the screen. When that's set up just right, you can go up there with a long magnet beam and just start zipping. If you just turn around, and he will go whoop super fast to the right. And it's used like everywhere in the speedrun, and like not just at the top of the screen, but like in between ceilings, even if it's like lower down on the screen. As long as you get that pixel perfect magnet beam placement and squeeze yourself in there, you can start zipping, and you'll see that like in the corridors before the boss fights in the Robot Master stages. And yeah, it's like non-stop glitches and speedrun tricks in this speedrun, which makes it so difficult. And like that's not even all to the run. There's like even more later on, where you, for example, in Wily Free on the well, I don't know, the boss fight there, where you have like Gutsman blocks in the middle of the screen, which is the boss's weakness, but you only have 4 of them, and the boss have health enough for 6 of those attacks. So there's a frame perfect trick where you, like, when you throw the Gutsman block onto the boss, there's a frame perfect trick where if you press B button on the last frame that the like Gutsman block is about to leave the screen, if you press B on the correct frame, you dupe another block, so you get like another one for free, just like magic. It just pops out of nowhere. And if you do that, well, no, wait, you need to do it 7 hits, right? Because you had 4 blocks and you need to do it 3 times. So yeah, sorry about that. It should be 7 hits, right? But yeah, you need to do that frame perfect trick 3 times in order to save. I think it said that it saves like 6, 7, maybe 8 seconds. I don't remember, something like that. So yeah, just really difficult to be consistent with those kind of things. And yeah, just overall super difficult speedrun. It does get like getting the correct pixels on the magnet beams becomes like muscle memory, but since you do it in so many different types on different places, it's definitely really difficult to master. And yeah, developing muscle memory for something like that takes a long time. So definitely, this game, if you're gonna pick up this game, it's gonna take a while to learn it, I'm sure. But it's a really fun speedrun because of how broken it is, and it's a classic game and just so fun to destroy it. And yeah, there's even more to the even more to the run. I just realized, like at the end of the very end of the game, there's a skip the boss fight. No, boss rush, I mean. And well, I'm gonna add it here in the video so you can see it, but basically you jump up on the screen with the magnet beam active, and then you can like take damage mid-air and start mashing start, I think it is. Yeah, start button. Select or start, now I don't remember, but anyway, you mash the button like crazy, and you go up the screen to a specific point to trigger a zip and just skip the fights, and it's glorious. But yeah, there's a lot of tutorials for this game out there, I know, so if you're interested in this speedrun, definitely go check those out. And yeah, best of luck with this speedrun, you're gonna need it. Game number 5, Metroid. This is another one of those games where I feel like the big challenge in this one, well, one of the big challenges in this speedrun is just mastering the movement, because Samus is pretty floaty in this game, like a fairly slow platformer, I would say, because of the floaty jumps from Samus. So yeah, like a lot of the speedrun comes down to just mastering room movements and jumping around enemies with that floaty jump of yours, and utilizing, well, the few weapons that you have at your arsenal. You're gonna get the ice beam and the missiles and stuff like that, so you can, depending on how much ammo you have for missiles, you might want to use that to take out an enemy to go by much faster and stuff like that. But this game does have its fair share of tricks as well. One of them is being able to, like when you roll into a morph ball and roll off a ledge, you can unmorph mid-air and jump mid-air, like after you unmorph, which is not well, not intended, I'm sure, from the devs, but it's a little speedrun trick, so you can skip out a few things, or really useful for navigating rooms much easier and whatnot. It also has a trick that's like you clip into a wall and then you can wrap around the rooms like vertically. So you go into a wall and basically just press down and up over and over and over again, like you morph and unmorph quick enough, and then that will make Samus go up the screen and eventually wrap around the screen. So you can, thanks to that trick, you can skip getting the bombs and get to sections like the ice beam without having to, well, you're supposed to have the bombs to bomb a floor, but with this wrap trick you can get to where you need to go in many places. And yeah, just overall challenging game due to the movement, I would say, actually. And especially well, one of the hardest part of the run, I would say, is the very end, the Mother Brain room. Notoriously, like, well, if you played Metroid and you got there, you probably know what I'm talking about. There's so much going on. You have for the 90% run of this, you don't have that many missiles, so the gates that you need to open up with missiles, if you don't, like, you need to hit them enough times to break them, and then they're gonna be gone forever. But if you just damage them a little bit and then you like don't keep damaging them, they will regenerate, and then you have to waste even more missiles. And yeah, in the 100% you don't have, I think it was like, if you have max ammo coming into the mother brain room, I think you have like 8 missiles or something like that to spare. I could be wrong there, but it's not a lot. So yeah, like around like 8 missiles that you are allowed to miss, and still being able to finish the run, because you do need the missiles to finish off Mother Brain as well, and she can also regenerate if you're like dealing damage and then not dealing damage for a while. So just really brutal room. If you practice it for as a speedrunner, it gets better for sure, but it definitely takes some time to master that. So yeah, I'm not gonna talk anymore about the game, like not go in depth on the tricks and all that. It just, like I said, challenging game, classic game, so it feels like one of those games that you want to have under your belt, that you can say that you can beat fast. You can brag to your friends. But yeah, hope you give it a try. Game number 6, Mr. Gimmick. And this speedrun is all about making hard jumps and manipulating your score, actually, to get some nice items that you need for the speedrun. But yeah, the tricky jumps are, well, you do a bunch of so-called star rides, where you, like when you hold B in this game, you generate a star and then you can throw it, and by throwing it in specific ways, you can also land on the star to get a nice speed boost. And yeah, what I said about the score as well is like depending on what number you have at the end of your score, and when you kill an enemy you get a certain item, and the item that you really want in this speedrun is the bomb. And the bomb is useful for bosses, and also some like a special trick jump that you can do in the second stage. So yeah, this game is all about utilizing that difficult star ride and getting like shortcuts and just going through the stage really fast, because this is a really tough game casually as well, I would say. And definitely, like, it's a short speedrun, but it definitely takes some time to master this one, because it's very easy to just mess up a simple thing. And yeah, like really tough run. So yeah, if you're in for like the game is awesome. It's a Sunsoft game, and if you're in for a really difficult challenge, I totally recommend this game. Game number 7, Solstice. This is another really difficult platformer where, like, it's a really short run, but it's really difficult because it's such a high pace and you have to memorize so much in it. Just like in Balakid 2, where it's like you leave a screen, well, when you enter a new screen, it just loads so fast, you need to execute a certain strat for that room in order to catch the fast cycles. And yeah, there's some really tricky jumps in this one, and you utilizing like blocks mid-air to momentarily get like a platform that you can jump off from. And yeah, it's just really high-paced and difficult platforming, and being an isometric game as well is a little bit tricky to get used to that. Isometric is when you like have like a certain angle, I would say, like it's not really up, down, left, right, it's more of like the diagonals. So pressing down means that you're going like down left on the screen. So that definitely takes time to get used to, but overall, like it's a fantastic speedrun. It's so good, and just like Balakid 2, it's so rewarding when you learn it and like remember what to do, and you just execute on it and nailing those tight jumps. It's really satisfying. And so yeah, the run is roughly, 7 minutes long for a good time, something like that, if I remember correctly. Or is it sub 6? Dude, I don't remember. It's short, it's fun. Go give it a try. Game number 8, Super Mario Bros. 2. I said earlier in the video that I'm only gonna do one game per series. If it wasn't for that, I could have easily had Mario 1 and 3 on this list, honestly. But I wanted to go with the second game. I feel it has a lot of stuff actually to it, like tricks, really difficult tricks. And personally, I feel like it's the hardest game out of the 3, at least for me. But yeah, one of the hard things about the speedrun is actually like just the how different it feels compared to well, if you're used to playing Mario games, this is very different from the first and third, I would say. The game feels much more floaty, even though it's very fast-paced, and especially since you're playing as Toad for the majority of the time. And Toad runs faster when he is holding an enemy or like an object above his head, and yeah, so he goes fast, but just gameplay feels a little bit floaty, and it takes some time to get used to. But yeah, this game has like a lot of it has a couple frame perfect stuff, like a veggie glitch that I don't do it here in this video because what you're watching is my PB, and I didn't even go for the hardest stuff in my run actually. And if you watch like the world record, if you watch Cool Kid, he's the beast at this game, by the way. You can see right away in like the first stage how insane the run is if you want to go all in on this run. But it's not something I recommend if you don't want to go for world record. Otherwise, do what I do here in this video. But yeah, a lot of like just different, difficult platforming, I would say. And going from Toad and later swapping over to Luigi, which has like a completely different physics, kinda throws you off as well. That you need to master both of those characters and how different they move. And like Luigi has like a floatier jump. Yeah, it's just a lot of stuff to this game that it's just hard to master. But I love this game so much. I played it so much as a kid. I actually like kinda speedran it as a kid when I didn't know what speedrunning was. I just learned how to beat the game fast with the warps and did that. But yeah, totally recommend this game. Yeah, if you unless you want to go for world record, then it's gonna be it's gonna be rough. But otherwise, I think you're gonna have a great time with this game. Game number 9, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is another really punishing platformer, I think. Basically, in this run, you want to play as Donatello as much as possible. He's really effective with his long range on his weapon. But yeah, in this game, when you take damage and you reach when you only have half or less, man, that was hard to say for some reason. If you have half or less health on your character, then you will deal double damage. So right away in the beginning of the run, you want to take damage and just hit that spot so you do more damage and therefore kill enemies and bosses faster. But that puts you at risk for the rest of the run, of course. Less health means 1 or 2 mistakes away from dying, possibly, and that's a very real scenario for this run. It can go south really fast, I think. Yeah, when you take a hit from an enemy in this game, if you do a mistake, you usually end up in a really bad spot and it's very likely to take more hits and probably die. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward run, I would say. There's a couple tricks. There's you can clip in this game. If you hit the I'm not sure if it's pixel perfect, but I think it is. But yeah, you can clip up onto platforms that you're not supposed to reach and do some shortcuts thanks to that. One good thing when you run this game is if you are in immediate danger, you have the opportunity to press start and select another turtle. So you can like manage your health, because they don't share the same health bar, so each turtle has like a separate health bar. Hopefully that you don't end up in that scenario, because that probably means you messed up. But you want to try to play as Donatello as much as possible. And yeah, the speedrun ends. Well, actually, I should start with the speedrun starts actually with like a kind of like a frame perfect trick on the very first input, because on the title screen, when you press start to start your run, that decides where the Technodrome will spawn in the late part of the run. And if you know this game, like the Technodrome can spawn in, there's like a couple holes that you can go down in the overworld, kind of, if you want to call it overworld. But yeah, it's based on when you press start on the tile screen, in which hole the Technodrome spawns. And there's one of those holes that's the fastest and the best case, of course. So you want to try to hit that frame to press start when you start your run. And so you're listening to the music that plays and try to hit start at the correct time when you're listening to the music. So that can be a little bit frustrating to I don't remember, like it's past 15 minutes at least, or I think something like that, when you get to the Technodrome. So yeah, it's pretty hard platforming, and then you get to that point and just pray that you're gonna get the Technodrome spawn at a good spot. And after that, we have the final stage of the run, which is also like game is throwing everything at you, and it also has like a couple wraps that you can and should do, especially one of them that's kind of free to do, but if you mess it up, you soft lock, but or I think you can die to reset, but yeah, it's bad if you mess it up, but it's kind of free. And then of course the whole way towards the end with all those jetpack dudes, it's just a really rough time. Like you do some manipulations there to like jump at the correct spots to trigger, like when you spawn them on the screen, and you can go fast. But like I said before, like a simple mistake in this game can be really devastating, and that's why I put this game on this list. I feel maybe a couple of you might not agree, but I find this game being among it belongs on the difficult list, I think. Great game though, so I hope you give it a try. The 10th and final game for this video is The Legend of Zelda. Such a classic game, and really difficult speedrun for many reasons, I think. There's just so much to it. Starting off in the run, you'll do like there's a lot of screen scrolling in this game, where you like place yourself 5 pixels from the edge of the screen, and then you tap either up or down for 1 frame, and then you enter a state where you can just walk out of the screen and wrap around on the other side. So doing that, all over the place, lets you go places really fast and skip stuff. And yeah, the hardest part about this run, I would say, is the combat. Like mastering the combat is so difficult. Like I felt like I had like a pretty good PB in this game, but I'm nowhere close to the top runners. And it's not so much about me being slower executing the like clips and wraps and tricks like that, because I was good at them, but I just lost so much time by having worse combat than the pros. And like even though it's a straightforward, like you go to this room, you stab that guy, kill that guy, whatever, but it just such a speedrun where you just bleed time all over the place unless you're really good at it. But yeah, lots of like clips in this game as well, where you like it looks like you're just walking through a block in like a dungeon, and I think if I remember correctly, it's a 2 pixel placement that you can place yourself on 2 different pixels, and then do that tap as well on the... Well, you can buffer it with a sword followed up by a D-pad press, but if you don't do that, I believe it's a frame perfect input as well to be able to do the clip. So lots of small things like that all over the speedrun. And of course, like one of the biggest things, and well, what might be hard for you like as a beginner when you start running this game, is forcing bombs, which is a thing in this game. But yeah, like in this game, there's like speedrunners always counting their kills when they defeat an enemy. And the reason for that is, well, like if they defeat 10 enemies without taking a hit, well, if you kill the 10th enemy with a bomb without getting hit, and that 10th enemy has a bomb in his drop table, because like different set of enemies have different drops. Like some drops rupees and hearts and or fairies and all clocks and all that good stuff. But yeah, if they have a bomb in their drop table and you manage to kill them with a bomb without taking damage as the 10th enemy, then he will drop a bomb. So you're spending one bomb to get another pack of 4. So, well, and bombs are super powerful in this game. You want to use them against strong enemies to kill them really fast, because you are gonna play with the wooden sword for quite a while until you get the magic sword way later, which is the strongest sword in the game. But you also need the bombs for opening up shortcuts, like you're blowing up holes in the dungeons all over the place and out in the overworld as well to find like additional hearts and the rupees and whatnot. So yeah, it's there's always something going on with this run, and that makes it so hard, and one of the hardest speedruns I think on the NES. Probably I would... Mega Man 1, like I talked about earlier, is up there like as maybe my hardest game that I can think of, due to like there's just constant tricks pretty much. But this, I don't know, Zelda might give Mega Man a run for its money actually. Like a slower paced game, but there's always something going on, and yeah, mastering that combat takes a really long time to get good at. But yeah, I don't know. I really love this speedrun though. Like I grew up with the game, played it casually, but I always preferred the second game more. But the speedrun for this game is a lot of fun, and I don't know. I really recommend it. There's so much, like I said, there's so much going on. It's so much fun to do. I'm sure there are like lots of great tutorials out there if you want to learn this game. So and many different routes if you want to do like there's a route for if you want to start off a little bit easier. You can do like a white sword route where you get the well, a better sword really early in the route. So that gives your combat abilities well, makes it easier until you get the magic sword. And there's also like routes where you get like a blue ring to not take as much damage and stuff like that. So lots of options for this wonderful game. And yeah, definitely go give it a try and let me know what you think. Speaking of let me know what you think, what did you think of this video? I hope you enjoyed it. That's all I have for you for today. Let me know down in the comments if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more speedrunning videos. And I'll see you in the next video. Happy speedrunning!